Welcome to the HR Empowerment Podcast, where we will uncover strategies and new insights from HR professionals who discuss up-to-date regulations, best practices, and the most pressing topics like diversity and equity, leadership, dealing with difficult situations, and much more that affect your bottom line and business. Thanks for joining us.
Hey, everybody. Welcome back. It's Wendy Sellers, the HR lady, here with my co-host, JC, coming in from New York.
Wendy, it's such a pleasure to be back here. Is such a misnomer to say I'm from New York because, I am from New York, the state, but I can see Canada from my porch. I feel like Sarah Palin in a way.
We won't go there. Well, the really great thing is we have a cool guest today who is also from New York, although New York is huge, so you guys aren't exactly neighbors, but maybe a little bit. So welcome, John Rubino. Hey, John.
Thank you very much, Wendy, JC. Great to be with you both.
Yeah, thank you. We are excited about this topic, and I personally am excited because it's a topic that I need help on. And so I'm so happy to hear from you. We're going to be talking about successful total cash compensation programs. That alone is a mouthful, and we really want to, dive into helping our listeners, first of all, understand what the heck that even means. But then on top of that, how can they create successful cash compensation programs once they figure out what it means. So let's just start off a little bit with, about you, John. You're an expert at this topic. You're the founder and president of Rubino Consulting Services. What do you do for your clients in a nutshell?
Sure. I've been doing this for about 30 years now. As a matter of fact, my entire career has been spent in the field that I love, human resources, with a strong concentration on compensation development, pay plans for organizations. For the last 26 years, I've had my own consulting practice, as you say, Rubino Consulting Services. We are global in nature. I personally have been to 109 countries.
Whoa.
Yes, I get tired just thinking about it, Wendy. So I do this work all around the world. And primarily, I work with organizations that are global. I do work with some mid-size and smaller entrepreneurial companies, but my primary base are the large organizations with operations in multiple countries all around the world. I do a lot of teaching and speaking. I've been doing that really since the beginning of my career for organizations such as World at Work and SHRM. Those are the two primary human resources and total rewards compensation groups within the United States and also globally. And Aurora, I do a lot of seminars with them and with other organizations. So I have a good deal of experience with this, and compensation, of course, is near and dear into the hearts of everyone. Everyone is concerned with getting paid, how much they're getting paid, why are they getting paid. So what is the structure of reward systems in organizations? That's the core.
That's awesome. So, in simple terms, what do we say, total cash compensation programs are? Like, what is it for the people, especially the small businesses that are on, which we have a lot of viewers, as you and I know, we both teach for Aurora, which is why we're here today. I even get confused when it's total cash compensation. You're thinking what's going into my bank account, but that's not really what it all is. So give us like a high level view of what the heck TCC really means.
Sure. When we talk about total cash compensation, there are two main components: base pay or fixed pay, depending on what country you're operating in addition to variable compensation. Variable compensation is when we reward our employees in lump sum, where we develop metrics of performance. If they achieve those objectives and metrics, we pay them with a lump sum check, as opposed to rolling increases into their base salary. Now, of course, all employees have a base salary that they operate under in all organizations. We work in determining what would be the rational and competitive rate to pay jobs. And there are a number of methodologies we go through to determine what would be the appropriate, quote unquote, pay rate in base pay. Then for those organizations, and not all organizations have variable compensation, but all empirical studies are showing that every year, more and more companies are adding variability into the compensation package for their employees. In fact, that is the global trend. And we can make the statement that in rewarding employees in lump sum, as opposed to rolling increases in base salary, is in fact more motivational to the employee. Think about it. If I give you a 3% increase in your base salary, that is spread out over 26 pay periods throughout the year, and taxes are taken out. So the thinking is, do you even see that money? Is there a relationship to what you actually add in value to the company and the cash reward you get? However, if I give you a check for $5,000, I got your attention.
Yes, please.
So if you achieve you achieve your goals, your objectives at the end of the year. Here's a check for $5,000. Now, of course, taxes are always taken out. The government must be fed, but you're still left with a chunk of money that you can see. The optics are there and the motivational value is a lot better. And if I can add another comment to this from the company point of view, because you know, Wendy, in human resources, we have to walk that fine line of meeting the needs of the organization and meeting the needs of the employees. Both are equally important. From a company point of view, whenever they give increases in base pay to employees, every year they're giving an increase upon an increase. That compounding effect adds to the fixed expenses of all companies. In fact, for most organizations, their total base salaries that they pay employees can equal up to 40 to 45% of the operating budget of a company. Whoa. Yes, indeed, JC. Now, there's no surprise when a company is having trouble, what's the first thing they cut? Employees. Yeah. Of course, because that is the largest fixed expense that companies have. From a financial point of view, it makes perfect sense. But we know from a human resources point of view, the motivational impact of layoffs on organizations. So companies are always looking for ways of saving their fixed expenses. So instead of getting that compounding effect every year, that one-time hit of a variable lump sum is a one-time hit to the financial statement of the company. There is no compounding effect year after year with variable pay.
It makes so much sense. Yeah, it makes so much sense. Oh, my goodness, John. I have so many questions, and I'm going to hold that, though, for session 2 of our podcast series. So we're going to wrap this up real quick, and then we're going to be back to talk more about this. I have questions, and then I want to talk also about the role of job evaluation and market pricing. We kind of started going down that route. So we'll be right back. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you for joining the HR Empowerment Podcast, brought to you by Aurora Training Advantage. We hope you've gained new insight and strategies to navigate the HR profession. We look forward to you joining us again on the HR Empowerment Podcast.